G'day, how are you? And today we're just dropping in for a really unscientific, non-scientific, de-scientific, I'm not sure what the proper term is, but this won't be scientific. But it will show us if you can blur your background at f5.6 using a kit lens. The reason for this video is lots of people are interested in the out of focus or blurred background or bokeh in a photograph. That sense that really isolates the subject from the background and really makes your subject pop out of the photograph. And that's something that people really look for. And the other side of it is when you buy a camera new, it often comes with the kit lens. Now, as part of seeking out that look, that out of focus blurred background, people often talk about fast glass or high speed apertures or wide apertures or lenses that have a fast aperture that really allow you to separate the subject from the background. And very often you will hear, and it is true when people tell you that kit lenses or smaller aperture lenses, usually more inexpensive lenses, don't have the ability to get that artistic separation from the subject in the background. So today we're going to have a look at it, and we're going to have a look around the f5.6 mark, because a lot of the kit lenses you get, you will see that number 5.6 on it. Generally this one here, for instance, is the 18 to 135 millimeter, and at 18 millimeters the widest maximum aperture is f3.5. That's okay, but once you zoom the maximum widest aperture on this is f5.6, and it's not quite as impressive. But you don't need to be dismayed, because you can still blur out the background. There's a few tricks to do it. You need to make sure your subject is close to your lens and the background is further away. The more you zoom, the more you're going to compress the background and obliterate it for that artistic look. So let's dive straight in and have a look at a couple of examples here. First, we're going to photograph an incense stick to show that you can blur the background on a tabletop setting, and then we'll pop outside and see if the background's a little bit further away and see what happens. Let's go for it. Okie dokie. So the plan here is to take a shot at f5.6 and see what happens to the background. We want to blur out the background, and it's often said to be very tricky at f5.6, and people have you believe it can't be done. But here you can see my live view screen, and you can see I've got a really basic setup here. I've got an incense stick burning, and in the background there I've got a shoebox and a photograph and just a speaker sitting there. And we're going to take the shot at f5.6 and try and line up everything and see what we can do to obliterate or blur out this background. Because if you're talking about fast glass or high-speed apertures, then we certainly need something that's faster than f5.6. The reason I've chosen an incense stick is because it's a very narrow object to focus on, but it will also give us a really clear separation between the background. We're going to punch in and focus on this incense stick and see what happens to our background. Right now, we can see it says Timberland quite clearly, and we can see the photograph there and everything in the background. It's not particularly appealing, but we're going to zoom in on this incense stick. Let's try this now and see what happens. Right, so we're punched in. I'm focusing up on it now. I'm using manual focus, and now I'm focused, and I'm going to take this shot here. This shot looks alright, but as you can see in the background, we could be in a forest, we could be anywhere. The timberland has completely blurred out, and we've completely isolated our subject, which is the incense stick. Can't read that. If we zoom out there, we can read it now, nice and clear. See, if I take the shot here at f5.6, there's no blurring of the background or anything like that. It's only when we punch in and we bring that subject matter closer to the lens and we push our background further away from the subject. But in this case, I've kept the background reasonably close to the subject to show you that it's even possible to blur out your background at this shorter hyperfocal distance, even at f5.6. Now, just for the sake of it, let's ramp up one notch here to f6.3. There we go, it's a third of a stop, and we're at f6.3. Sometimes you'll find this is the maximum widest aperture setting at the tightest zoom. So we'll have a look at this and see what it does to the background too. Once again, we're on the incense stick, fire the shot. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to bring it up on live view here. Okay, that's the background. You can start to see some more definition in those letters. Okay, now just for the sake of it, I'm going to whack that, bring that lens off. I'm just going to quickly chuck on the EF 50mm f1.8, and we'll bring that back to life. Okay, let's ramp that down. We're going to bring that right down to f1.8. Okay, 1.8, we'll just drop that ISO. See, the great thing here is we're still going to get blurred background, but we can also emit more light, which means we can reduce the ISO and also have a fast enough shutter speed. Okay, so let's focus on this. And we'll take that shot at f1.8. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so the background's completely blurred, as we can see there. Okay, so if we bring these up, here's f1.8, and the background is completely obliterated, as you can see. Let's flick a couple past. f6.3, well, you know, We are punched in a bit closer there, so it's compression of the zoom has helped out there. Back very similar, and then we go to f5.6. There's what we're dealing with there. So okay, well that was interesting. Well, let's snap back. Okay, well we definitely saw there that can blur out the background at f5.6, even at f6.3 on a subject that's close to the lens with the background a little bit stood off from it. Now we're going to come outside and try it again. Let's see how we go. So I've got this mandarin here, and that's going to be our subject. Lovely looking mandarin. Okay, so we're set up now, and as you can see our mandarin's here, it's our subject. I'm going to flick the camera on, we're on AV mode, and I've got it on f5.6. I'm going to take the shot and see if we can blur out the background. Check my exposure, looks pretty good. Okay, well we took that shot at f5.6, and as you can see here, well, the mandarin's in focus, definitely within the depth of field, and the background is blurred a little. The background is about 25 to 30 meters away. I would have expected it to blur a little bit more, but there we go. Let's crank it up to f6.3, take the shot again. Gonna get a bit closer to the mandarin this time. These shots taken at f5.6 and 6.3, but just with the kit lens here for the M50. It's the EFM 15 to 45, f3.5 to 6.3. Okay, so those were the tests. We did the inside tabletop test on the Incense, and 100% you can see the background's blurred, absolutely fine. Matches up to an f1.8 shot in terms of the background blur, so we had terrific results there. Then we went outside. Okay, the results weren't quite as impressive as I was expecting, but we did have the subject matter quite close to the camera, as you can see here with the mandarin, and the background is nicely blurred. I mean, if there was something there that was distracting or not quite as appealing, I'm sure it would melt away, but as it is, it's quite an attractive background blur there. We absolutely know what our subject matter is, so if instead of a mandarin this was a face or a portrait, you could be absolutely assured of having a blurred background and having subject separation. That much is for sure. Okay, so what did you make of that test? Does that encourage you a little bit? Does that reassure you that you're going to be able to get that background blur with your kit lens? You don't have to run out and spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Well, you don't have to anyway. I mean, you can spend a couple $100 and get a great fast aperture lens. Okay, but you don't have to run out and spend thousands of dollars on expensive lenses. You can achieve that blurred background, the out of focus area, the bokeh. You can achieve the bokeh that you're looking for with the narrow aperture, small aperture, slow aperture lenses. It is possible. f5.6, hit it! As always, thank you for watching this short video. To reassure you in photography, we're learning together. Please hit the subscribe button and check out these videos from last time. Have a great day.